Alright, welcome back to Decision Games Battles in the East, Volume 1. We're playing the Bagration Stop scenario. And been kind of busy, but where I left it off last video was we had done the Soviet Game Turn 3 move. And just working our way north to south, we do see they've moved up, and these units are in general supply, so you can only do one attack at everybody at half strength. Limited attacks here, hoping maybe destroy this unit, move this unit, and start opening a hole. Here they're just trying to trap these guys, prevent the escape. This swamp is kind of going to slow them down. 4th SS Panzer is kind of trapped in this pocket here. 2nd tank is mixing it up with some panzers out here. You're going to see a lot of these supply markers come off in the combat phase because you check supply at the moment of combat. And then we do come down here where at first I thought, oh, look at this, the Hungarians leave this turn, pulled them out. And there was a zone of control hole here, which the Russians took advantage of and potentially going to kill all these units, break this front wide open. But unfortunately, that's where I made my mistake. I went back and revisited the rules while looking for reinforcements, withdrawals, and redeployments. For the German turn, I did see the 3 Hungarian infantry divisions are withdrawn at the start of German game turn 3, not Soviet. Soviet is the first phase player. So the Hungarians are not removed at the beginning of the Soviet turn. Instead, they are removed at the beginning of the German turn. So that means there's 2 Hungarian infantry divisions. Well, there's 3. One here, one here, one here, and effectively this hole goes away, which definitely changes the complexion of what's going on down here. It looked like it here. We'd have to send down the Hungarian Panzer Division, try and put out the fire here, try and get these guys disengaged. You know, Russians closing on here. So it did look like this was falling apart, just like potentially here's falling apart in the pocket. But I did have to go back now and fix that. The only place this affects is down here, so it was easy to fix. I mean, relatively easy. So I did redid the Soviet move for down here based on the Hungarians still being here. So that was an important catch there in time. So let me pause here and pull up the revised Soviet move in the south. And here we go. You do see the Hungarians now in place, here, here, and here. But these were the important positions, so there is no zone of control block here. So that totally changes the Soviet move. They're still stuck. Can't move between ZOCs. So basically they're going to do their attack down here. Probably not going to attack here. But they can't get over the river because that's over the stacking limit and can't cross a major river if a unit's adjacent and there's ZOCs here. And then they're going to try and push this here to at least interdict this road. And to prevent Hormring-Goring from coming down too fast. And the Poles actually were, you saw last turn, at least the Germans, they definitely mauled the Polish army here, the 1st Polish army. Their mech units are gone. Basically, they got 3 infantry divisions, and they kind of pull back to the Vistula, try and protect themselves from, I don't know what the Hormring-Goring is going to do. So it totally changes the complexion of what's going on down here. Instead, the Soviets have basically made some minor gains down here with the 8th Guards. And these guys are trying again for the 3rd turn to push this guy off the Vistula. So let's go ahead and pause. And then I will show you the results of the attacks. And this time I'll start in the south. And then we'll go to the north separately. And then I kind of combine the results in the mech move for the Soviets. All right, and here we go. The Soviet attacks, at least in the south. Basically, they had 2 attacks. See the odds. They used some Sturmovix down here for this one. They had their headquarters. This one gave a 1-hour shift, but the 8th Guard gives a 3-hour shift. Pretty powerful. But Model is here, giving a defensive 2L. And Model focused here and dropped these odds down to 3-1, and these odds stayed the same. And if you look up the results, I think this was a 2/. So the Germans just retreated 2, and the 69th followed. So finally, they've pushed them off the river. And then up here, though, the Germans were hoping for a fail because it was down to 3-1, but the Soviets got lucky and rolled a 6, which really was a 2, which pushed them back. And at least now they're interdicting this road. But the big problems the Soviet has next turn are they're going to have basically the 70th Army coming on board. Here, let me show you that. Yeah, all of these units are out of attack supply now. 70th comes on board, I think, over on the, get my east and west, I think the west board. No, that's the eastern edge. So they could help down over here. We'll see in a second. They'll be in attack supply for the next 3 turns, and then the Soviets can only pick one of these armies to be in attack supply starting on this turn. Then they can pick another and another. So this is kind of the dry spell for the Soviets here on the 4th turn, when in general there's only going to be 2 armies on the board in attack supply. And you do see the Germans are starting to get some reinforcements, so that's going to limit them. So instead of the south breaking wide open, we do see that it's pretty much blocked here. Germans are actually going to get 2 units of reinforcements along here, and now they're going to have the flexibility to maybe redeploy the Hermann Göring over to the other side of the board. We'll look at that during the mech move. But now let's look at the attacks up north. So let me pull that one up. All right, here it is further up north, and the Soviets did attack here to start reducing the pocket, and they did cause the, I think the Germans, there was a 3, so the Germans took 1 loss and then retreated. This guy 1, 2. Okay, so they're closing the pocket here. But the real damage, yeah, we can look up here. These were not successful. I rolled a 1 here, so this unit's still here, so there is no hole. This is moving real slow. These armies are in general supply, too. They're 1 attack each and halved. And then we come up here, and the big 2 attacks were here, where they eliminated those exposed German panzer units. I think we can see them here. Yeah, I think they're the ones on the top. Yeah, this guy, I think it was these 2 guys. Losses the Germans couldn't afford. So they basically eliminated those 2 units. These units, I don't know, this guy's kind of pinned against the river. And this guy's got a problem. The swamp is kind of like slowing things down, although he could slip up this way if he wanted. But he's still in zone of control. But we'll see what the Soviets do during the mech move. So they did succeed in eliminating these 2 units, along with reducing the pocket over here. So lesson learned, I would say, for the Germans, don't attack on turn 3 while all the armies Soviets are in attack supply, because then they can slap you back. That Germans, if they were going to counterattack, should have waited 1 more turn. I don't know if that's gamey or not, but then that next turn in the 4th, they're only going to have really 1 army on the board in supply, and the 70th coming on the board there. So that's where they could probably have counterattacked without too much concerning the Soviet response. But yeah, this is turning into a free-for-all here, and at this point I would say the Soviets are getting the better side of the battle out here. And this one's still all closed up here. They've blocked them in. So 1 more thing to show, and then we'll call it a video. Then we'll move on to the German turn in the next video. We're going to pull up the mech move, so be right back. Okay, and we're back for the mech move, and it's really easy down here. Since the Polish mech units have been destroyed, there is no mech move down here. No cavalry either, so this is pretty much as it was. Let's see what the Soviets do up here. I think I got them marked. Yeah, they were able to pivot this guy. Oh, movement trail's not there. Wonder why that happened. Oh, I know why. Okay. But anyway, he was able to go 1, 2, 3, 4 because you have and round up for the mech move, and all these guys were in supply, so they could do that. This guy decided discretion was a better part of valor, and actually was able to cross because no Zoc across the major river. There's a bridge here, so it was basically 1, 2, and a half, and that's as far as he went. These guys are keeping him pinned. Here we see we're trying to bring the second tank together, so we pulled these guys off, move some other units to do the duty on these units. They can't move again because you can't move from Zoc to Zoc. So they don't have to be adjacent, they just need to make sure it's a Zoc to Zoc move. And then next turn there's some decisions for the Russians what to do with 70th Army, which comes into let's see, we got a 70th Army attack supply 1525. Sorry, these are hard to read. But they are in attack supply, and whoa, that's pretty much down here. Holy smoke. Wait, 1525. Yep, they come right here. So are they in a position to get anywhere fast? They're infantry. It's one movement factor for each of these, pretty much. I'll have to look at the 70th. Honestly, I don't think they're going to get anywhere fast. Or they could shift down here. So again, the Soviets have options. Not many, though, because only one other army can be in attack supply. So I don't think they're going to pull off the push here. So if I had to pick something in attack supply, tempting to do the second tank army to finish off, well, to try and finish off the panzers here on the approaches to Warsaw. Victory points are up here, so maybe the second tank army and maybe the 70th comes over here to potentially help reduce the 4th SS, and then next turn we free up the 47th and go. Yeah, big choices. I don't know if we're going to waste attack supply up here yet. They've got a long way to go. And the Germans are holding out here. So we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, that's the mech move here. We did move these units over here, 47th to threaten. Because now when we look at Hermann Göring, I'm going to have to think about it this for the Germans. They don't have to go south. Actually, that's relatively stable. Maybe they can shift up here. The only crossing is here. So maybe they move here, punch this guy back, and then they can come up here and either threaten the rear of the second tank and or come over and try and blow a hole open for the 4th SS to get out of this mess here. But the other problem the Germans have is the road to these victory point hexes is kind of open to the second tank. So it's kind of tough. A lot of choices. So that's it. I think that's a wrap for the Soviet turn. Pretty dynamic here in the center. The south, though, and the north are rather slow. So this seems to be where the action is. So when we come back, it'll be the German turn. And what's their response? Can they extricate this guy? Maybe. And what's the Hermann Göring going to do? It's pretty much all the flexibility they've got. They're getting reinforcements from here and then one unit up here. That'll help, but really what helps the Germans now is, at least for the next turn or two, all of the Soviets aren't in attack supply, which is going to slow them down a bit. So we'll see where it goes. Anyway, thanks for listening, and I hope to get these out faster now that things have kind of slowed down for me for a while. But again, this feels like a pretty good game. I realize I'm only 3 turns in, but interesting choices, interesting dynamics. Can't wait to get the other ones on the virtual table too. So thanks for listening. Comments appreciated. Like, subscribe, etc. And we'll see you back here next time for the German turn.